Hey Stampers, it's the Pampered Stamper, and I'm doing something a little bit differently today. Instead of a blog post, I'm doing a video, and I might include one picture, I'm not even sure. What I'm trying to do is just take a break from a lot of typing because I like doing a good blog post, and so when I've been doing them, they're fairly long. And to make a long story short, I went to the physiotherapist yesterday because my thumb is absolutely killing me. So I think I have some kind of tendonitis. The carpal tunnel is going away, but she did say if I'm getting pain to ease up on the blogging. So that is what I'm going to do. And I know that you guys will understand. So let's see how this goes. What I want to show you today is our new Pigment Sprinkles, the new stamp set, the host set New Wonders, which is really cute. It's totally really out of my normal zone. They're very cutesy and whimsical. I like them. And then for this card, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I might combine it with the It Starts With Art. So we'll see. I'm also using a new product called Fluid 100 watercolor paper. It's very smooth. Okay, and so for this card, I will show you, you can cut this in half, and then we have to trim it a wee little bit to get the right measurements. So let's get started. I'll start with cutting the watercolor paper the right size. So you just open it up and just take out one at a time because you want to leave that. You want to make sure that the paper stays pristine. Okay, I have a great tip for the pigment sprinkles too, but we're not there yet. Okay, so we're taking our watercolor paper, and it measures 7 by 5. So I'm going to cut it in half at 3.5. Okay. And then we're going to leave it for now. And the first thing we're going to do is do our pigment sprinkles on the bottom. Now, these pigment sprinkles come in 6 colors. Take a peek. There we go. And the neat thing about them is that they are Stampin' Up colors. That's the reason we don't have the brush show anymore, because they weren't in our colors. So I'm going to use these 3, Melon Mambo, Gorgeous Grape, and Bermuda Bay. Now, when you open them, you will see I've covered this up. I'll tell you why. These pigment crystals are very intense, and you would think this is a good thing. They've got 3 little holes already in there. The problem is the holes are not little. And so when you sprinkle out, you get more than what you want. And so what we're going to do is take a piece of washi tape. I learned this little trick from Dana Rico. And we're going to cover up, believe it or not, there's 3 holes. We're covering up 2.5. That's how much stuff comes out. All right, so the lid still goes down. It doesn't seal, but that's okay. Just put it, you can lay that down, put the lid on, and you're good to go. So, see, I already sprinkled a little bit on here. I'm going to turn the watercolor paper upside down. And I'm going to do something a little bit differently. All right. This is Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to sprinkle a wee little bit here. And look, you hardly need any. I've just got this is the least amount, and then I'm taking my watercolor paint. Oh, I've got a bit of yellow in there from the last card I did. Always have some paper towel ready. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to spread it around. Oh, look, it works out fine. See that little bit? It's all I needed. Otherwise, I get such a dark color. So I'm going to leave that. And then you take your paper towel and just brush it off. See how much purple is still left? And there's the yellow from my other card. So I'm squeezing it and getting rid of that water. Okay. And then you can move this around, but I'm going to leave it for now. And then I'm going to make my other puddle over here. And we're going to do Melon Mambo. I've already got the washi tape over the hole. And see, just a little bit of sprinkle, not much at all. Squeeze your aqua painter. And then move it around. See, that's pretty light, so I can always add more. It's easy to add. It's difficult to take away. See, and then you can move, you can manipulate your water so it goes around. I'm going to get rid, oh no, I'm not going to get rid of my paper yet, there. A few more sprinkles just to intensify the color. See? Lovely. Now the other use for your paper towel is that you can absorb some of the water if you want. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I don't like using the heat tool too much because I find that it dulls the color. You can at the very end if you really want to. There we go. And now I'm going to add the middle color, which is Bermuda Bay, and that one I found was the most intense. Okay, so very important to have just a little bit of this one, otherwise it looks green. There we go. See, you can hardly see it on there. And then a little dot of water, and there we go. See how dark it is? Then when we spread it around, you can see it's a beautiful Bermuda Bay. Now this time I do want to get close to the other colors. This is just a more controlled way of adding your color. See, the purple is dry, so it's not bleeding a whole lot. Nice. And then just tilting it around to spread the water. I'm not sure if I like that purple one is so perfectly square. So the nice thing with watercolor paper is that you can go back and play. So I'm going to drop a little bit more water on here. Then I'm going to add a little bit more sprinkle. There we go. And see how pretty that is? I've intensified the color, and I just want to make my shape a little bit more artistic. Just a little bit more. There, I like that. Of course, once you start changing things, you'd never want to stop, but we'll leave it just like that. I'll absorb a little bit of that purple here, and then I will heat set it just for the purpose of time. But you see how that changes things when you use the paper towel? Okay, let's get the heat gun and dry it up. The reason I really want to have this dry is because I'm going to emboss on top of it, and if the paint isn't dry, then the embossing crystals will stick everywhere, and we don't want that. Okay, so now I'm going to use my stamp apparatus, and let's get it in here. And I want to add that cute little fairy image to the top. I already have the words on here for my last card, so I'm going to flip this so that I have the other side. And then you put your stamp where you want it to go. And I'd like it to go here. Close it up. And there we go. And then I'm going to ink it up with Versamark. And then we're going to add the new black embossing, the sparkle black embossing powder. With watercolor paper, it's important to give it maybe 2 coats of the Versamark, just to be sure. You want your embossing image to be nice and crisp. And embossing is only good as your Versamark, because Versamark is what makes it stick. Okay. Let's have a look. See, now I'm hoping, yeah, this feels pretty dry. If it's not dry, you will run into problems. Okay, coffee filter. You can see the sparkle in there. There we go. Good, it's not sticking anywhere where it shouldn't. And I didn't even use the embossing buddy. Let's have a look. The embossing buddy is a good idea, but I often forget. Thankfully, it wasn't a problem this time. Okay. So, heat gun. And when you're heat embossing, you don't want to wave your heat gun around. You leave it in one spot till it changes, and then you slowly move over. It's not like drying your hair. And the way to tell that this product has been set is that it really gets sparkly. It's good to do it in a good source of light as well. It seems to take a little bit longer on watercolor paper. There it goes.